Hello guys, and the Ukrainian Intelligence Directorate continues to sanction Russian war criminals. -2 these days. And these are no ordinary Russian military men, but an admiral of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, neutralized in Crimea. And the second one, the general of the FSB, neutralized in Moscow. What makes the whole situation more symbolic, both of these war criminals represented once considered invincible Russian structures, the Black Sea Fleet, totally neutralized, paralyzed, destroyed by the Ukrainian drones and the Ukrainian fighters. So this was actually very logical. If the majority of the Black Sea Fleet destroyed, the headquarters destroyed, they kind of needed more of the Russian admirals in hell, and we have just delivered one. And the FSB general neutralized in Moscow. Could you imagine something similar happening before the start of the invasion? And isn't FSB supposed to know everything about everyone? Well, Russia is failing epically, and no matter how hard the White House, by lifting sanctions, by halting Patriots, defense weapons to Ukraine, is trying to save the Kremlin, the process is irreversible. And to make this planet a safer place, we need to speed up, to defeat, demilitarize Russia, and this actually includes not only the objects, but people responsible for war crimes. They have to get the justice, and justice was delivered. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and collapse of the Kremlin, subscribe, we will discuss that on the channel soon. So according to various Russian propaganda channels and military bloggers, they have lost Ildar Akhmerov. So Ildar Akhmerov was the first deputy commander of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, and he was an admiral. He was super experienced and responsible for a lot of war crimes that were organized or covered by the Russian Black Sea Fleet. One of the main victories in this war is actually our successful strategy with the Russian Black Sea Fleet, totally upgraded to the scrap metal submarines on the bottom of the Black Sea. They've lost their flagships, they've lost their warships, the ones that stood for the glorious Russian fleet, and it was very symbolic when we neutralized their headquarters in Sevastopol, and literally the remains of that Black Sea Fleet had to escape to Novorossiysk, that is inside the Russian Federation, where the Russian fleet logically belongs to. What is interesting, according to a lot of data, the head of the Black Sea Fleet was neutralized, I guess, 2 years ago, and now this first deputy commander, Admiral Ildar Akhmerov. According to that very Russian Telegram channels, he was neutralized in Crimea. And those of you who follow the updates on my channel remember that recently there were some serious strikes on the Russian air defense systems there, military arsenals. And that's important because this war started with Crimea annexation, and it can end with the return of Crimea to Ukraine. Because right now, all the territories that Russia occupies, it uses as a platform for further attacks and further extensions, what some of the Ukrainian vloggers describe as this salami strategy, when cutting small pieces, you can destroy everything. One more reason why we cannot trust the negotiations process to the White House, to the present White House, especially taking into account that the very idea of these negotiations is totally fake. And I was very disappointed to learn that some of the Russian sanctions were lifted, and most importantly, Patriot missiles and some artillery shells are halted and won't be given to Ukraine, which obviously looks like a plot against us. So like sanctions lifted from Russia, no ammunition, no weapons, Budapest Memorandum disappears from the webpage, and What? So we are openly helping Putin, Trump. It doesn't look anything any way else. So please speak the truth. Let's name the things by their real name. That's how it looks. Even with all the humiliation, Zelensky followed all the rules. Zelensky did everything Trump expected. Putin kept ignoring him, killing lots of innocent civilians in constant strikes. And now, no patriots for Ukraine, no weapons for Ukraine, sanctions lifted from Russia. So Russians are blessed, literally, by the White House to continue destroying my country. But luckily, we have our plans and our sanctions. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. That's the easiest but very, very important way. You know that FSB rules Russia, that Putin is a KGB FSB agent, and these systems, the services are central in Russian mafia, in Russian oligarchy. So whenever we neutralize FSB generals, this means that more liberty is in the world. And most likely a successful intelligence operation was conducted in Moscow, which is also a proof that as a classical bully, Russia was totally unprepared to defend itself. They do not control their borders. We've seen that in Kursk and Belgorod. They do not control their airspace because really often they have to close airports, and Ukrainian drones successfully reach strategic military objects inside Russia. They do not control their air defense because it does not save them from the visits of the Ukrainian drones, but I'm okay with that. They do not control Russian economy. They do not control a lot of countries that were formerly on the orbit of the Kremlin, starting with Syria, Iran, and finishing with Azerbaijan, Armenia, Kazakhstan, and many more, showing, that middle finger to Putin, witnessing his weakness. And it's just Donald Trump who keeps repeating that Putin is a strong guy. No, he's not. He's a pathetic Kremlin goblin that uses help of China, uses help of North Korea, uses weapons from Iran, and actually stole the money of his population from the banks to spend all of that on a war against Ukraine. And I was surprised to hear that in the recent video of Jake Bro, that approximately one Russian nightly attack costs $400 million, like $500 million, to destroy Ukrainian cafes and hospitals for nothing, when all Russia is so poor and so miserable. I don't know why Russians don't think about that at all. But let's return back to that sanctioned, demilitarized senior FSB general, and he was neutralized in Moscow, and he was Alexei Komkov. He worked as the head of the 5th service that deals with counteroffensive, but in Russia they call everything counter, when in reality it's just them who attack, who destroy, who provoke, who spy. And oh my God, don't you think it's way better, more honest, more just to stand with Ukraine, to name the things the way they are, to help us defend our home, because we are fighting for our homes, for our schools, for our children. We are not looting, raping, and invading other territories as Russians. And they openly speak about the need to attack more countries, about the need to undermine the European Union, NATO. They are mocking the United States. And they do it openly on TV, but so many people are still looking for the excuses and some theories why it's not what you see. No, everything is very simple. Right now, the White House is playing on the Russia side. And I don't think it represents the opinion of the people of the United States. Even those who supported Trump, I'm not sure they supported Putin. That's insane, and this goes against centuries of the American history, and it shouldn't be like that. Unfortunately, these betrayals and this decision cost lots of lives of our best people. This happened when Trump halted the support before becoming the president. And it was made specifically in the important moment. And now he does not pressure Russia to negotiate. He doesn't have any instruments to pressure Putin. He only dreams to meet with him. Instead, he does everything for Ukraine to surrender, holding weapons that were given like by the previous administration, and even halting the air defense systems that simply protect innocent people so that Putin can commit more terror and maybe Ukrainians will want to surrender. No, we're not like that. Never underestimate Ukraine. Please share these videos. It's super important to speak the truth in the world so intoxicated with BS. And now it's coming not just from the Kremlin. I hope you get what I mean. Subscribe to my new channel and watch my recent video about this Putin strategy of fear and terror and why it will fail just as his blitzkrieg. Trust me, I'm a Ukrainian. Here I connect the link, and also join me on Instagram, on Blue Sky, on Threads, on Discord and X. All the links in the description of this video, same as the link to our merch shop with lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And again, we need that a lot. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. This is extremely important and I'm very grateful for that. And thank you for being friends of mine and friends of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!